Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Electrical Coder. So today we'll be studying about a Python program to perform a linear search. So first what we be doing is first we'll be going through the program. What about the program, that is how to actually write this program and try to understand the logic behind this program. Mainly before we actually try to write any program, we need to understand the logic and the algorithm that works behind the program, because it makes us easier to actually write a program once you know the algorithm and the logic that is there behind this particular program. So first we'll try to understand the different parameters that are there in this program, how they can be set up, and how do we organize this program, and then we will move forward with the execution part of this particular program. So first is to understand the program logic. Okay, so mainly what is the aim of the program? See, the aim of the program is very simple: to search a given item X in a list of items. So you have a list of items, in that it can be anything, numbers or anything. Your job is to find a given number. Okay, if you have a list comprising of 10 to 15 numbers and you have an X variable in which 5, 6, 7, anything is given, if that particular number that is given to you does exist in the list of items or not, that is what you're going to do using this program. And how it is done, the iteration process. Okay, so it mainly iterates through each and every element or an item that is there in this particular list using a while loop. So we are using a very simple while loop to actually go on with this particular program. If you find the item that you're searching for, okay, then there is a particular variable known as flag variable. It indicates that the item was found. Okay, now if after you complete the loop, okay, if your flag is set to the value of 1, then your print function will print the position of the item where it was found. And if the flag variable is not set to 1 and it is still 0, then what will happen is your print function will print that the item was not found. So this is basically a very simple program logic. Now next we will see the command lines that we are going to use. So first what I'm going to start off with is basically initialization. I'm going to define a variable called as item and I'm going to define it in a list. So I'm going to give a set of numbers like 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a print function which prints the list of the items. These two command lines are very much simple. Then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use a user input. Now why this particular user input is required? Why? Because I actually require the user input because I have to find a number that is there in that list or not. So I'm going to give an random number and check if that particular random number is there in my list or not. Then next what I'm going to do is I'm going for a loop initialization. Okay, so first thing is we go with the initialization. Second, we are done with the printing of the list and then next actually I go for the user input, because once I've defined the list, then next what I'm going to do is I'm going to give some random number, okay, through a user input and see that if that particular number exists in this list or not. So that is actually my main agenda for this particular program. Then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to initialize a loop. As I had explained in my program logic, I'm going to initialize a loop. So I'm going to use a while loop, and before I use a while loop, I'm going to give a double variable initiation where I'm going to use I is equal to flag is equal to 0. Okay, so I'm going to initialize, means I'm initializing my two variables I and flag to 0 initially. Now I'm going to tell why I'm going to initialize these both variables with 0. But for now you need to know that there are two variables I and flag, both of them I'm initializing it as 0. Now I is known as a counter variable and flag is mainly used to indicate whether a particular item is found or not, which is our main agenda. Now as we go through the command lines, I will explain each and every function of I and flag. So next what I'm going to do is that I'm going to I'm going through the loop. Okay, so that is, I'm going to loop my list of items. Okay, so what it basically does is that my loop goes through each and every item in the list. Okay, so that is why I've given a function called as while my I, that is the current value, it is less than the length of the item. Until that, you need to continue the loop. Once that length is actually done, you exit from the loop. So initially my I value will be less, means if I'm going through the first element, I will be 1. Then the length of the item is what? The length of the item is 5. So 1 is less than 5. So it will go through the loop until, okay, it does not reach that length of the item. It will be inside the loop. Once it reaches, it breaks out, it comes out. Okay. So finally what happens is that mainly what is this particular loop checking? It checks if the current item, that is this I, matches the one that the user is looking for. If the item I is equal to X or not. Okay, so this is basically an operator checking if the value of X is equal to the current item. What is the value of X? X is something that you had defined here, is the number that you are searching. For example, let us take here X as 11. So what happens is that whenever it goes through the loop, it checks that if the current value of I is equal to X or not. Okay, so that is what is actually happening in the while loop. Okay, I hope you understand this. Okay, then next what happens is that if it finds a match, okay, if your last statements, okay, that is if item current I is equal to X, if it is found, if that is condition is true, then what happens, the flag variable is basically set to 1, indicating that the item has been found, and it breaks out of the loop immediately. And if there is no match, it moves on to the next item in the list by incrementing the I. So now you know why I have used an I variable and why it is actually called as a counter variable. So this is the main reason. Okay, so every time it goes through each and every actually list. Okay, so basically the I value keeps on incrementing. Then what is this check flag? Mainly after the loop, once the loop is completely over, it will check the value of the flag variable. Now if the flag variable value is 1, it means that the item was found, and it will print that the item is found, and then it will also give us the value or the index value where the list is. Okay, so if the item is found, the flag is 1, it means that the item was found, so it prints out the position, that is index +1 of the item in the list. So this is what the print command you will be giving, item found at a position I +1. So that is why counter variable. Okay, so every time it goes through the list, the counter, the value of the I changes, 1, then next 2, then next 3, so that when the value is found, you also need to know the index value where my particular item is. Okay, so it is two-way working. Okay, it is also telling you that the item is found or not, and if it is found, then in which place it is there. That is also very much important. So actually it is also giving me that. So that is the role of using a counter variable I and the flag which tells me if the item is not found. So I'm using I and flag for this particular purpose. Then next, if once the loop is over and if the value of the flag is 0, it means that the item wasn't found, and then what happens? It prints the message indicating that the item is not found. So to put it in a nutshell, basically this program asks you for a number. Okay, you will give any random number. Then it checks that if the number that I have entered, if it is there in the list or not. If it is there, it tells me yes, it is found. Okay. And then it also tells me the position. And if it is not there, it tells me plainly that it couldn't find it or not found. Okay. So that is basically the program that we are actually going to write. And now, to be very much precise, what is actually a flag? Okay, see, a flag variable is basically a Boolean indicator, Okay, it is mainly used to search an item for item like an X if it is there in a particular list of items or not. And it is a very common technique that is used in most of the programming languages. Okay, and most of the programming that is why it is known as a flag variable to track a particular condition. Okay, within the loop, because in the loop I should know that the reason I am running a loop, I should know that if that purpose has served or not. So I am going to use a flag variable once my loop condition is over. Have I achieved something or not? Okay, so if it is set to 0, it means that after the loop, I did not get the result I was actually expecting. And if the loop is over, and if I see that, oh, my flag variable is set to 1, it means that whatever I was searching for, that particular item has been found. So basically, after the loop, the program checks the value of the flag. If the flag is 0, it means that the item was found. If the flag is 1, the item was found. Okay, and if it is one, the flag, if the flag variable is 0, the item was not found. And if the flag variable is 1, it means that the item was found. So 1 means the item is found and 0 means it is not found. Okay, and to put it in very simple terms, what is actually a flag? So these types of questions normally appear in your Viva questions. Okay, so basically a flag variable acts as a marker or an indicator whether a certain condition has been met or not. Now in this condition, what is our condition? We need a condition where the item I'm searching for, if it is there in the list or not. So if my flag variable is 0, it means that the item I am looking for is not there. Okay, if my flag variable is 1, it means that the item that I'm looking for has been found. Okay, very much simple. So I hope that you have understood the entire process of this particular program, or the logic and the algorithm behind this program. Now next, what we are going to do is that we are going to write this program. Okay, and while we write the program, we are also going to understand the each command line once again, so that it becomes easier for you to understand. Okay, so now with this, I finish my explanation part. Next, I will go to the script. Okay, where I'll try to write the program. So this is my shell window. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to open a new script file. Okay, so now we will start with the writing of the program. So as I have explained in my program logic, on a similar line, I will start. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to initialize a list. Okay, so first I'm going to initialize a list where I'm going to give it as items. Okay, as the variable name, and I'm going to define a list where I'm going to give some numbers like 5, okay, followed by 7, followed by 10, followed by 12, followed by 15. Okay, now this is my list. Once I have actually defined my list, the second important thing that I needed to do was I need to give a print function stating that, okay, the list of the items is, comma, again I need to define the items because it is the variable, so I need to define the variable also here. Okay, now this is my second command line. Okay, I hope you remember while I was explaining the program logic and the command line. Now the third one, what was the third one? Third one was defining the user input. I need to give the user input, right? Which number I want to find. So here I'm going to give an integer so that the number that I'm giving as an input will be converted to integer, or it will be taken as an integer. Now I'm going to give a prompt as enter item to search. Okay, colon and then double quote. I'm going to end this. Okay, so this is done. Then next, what I'm going to do, I am going to set my flag Please don't forget the flag. Flag is very, very important. So I'm going to give here a double variable initiation. Okay. I'm going to give a double variable initiation. Please remember this. So I is equal to flag. Okay. And sorry, I is equal to flag. Okay. That flag in turn flag is equal to 0. Okay. Now this is also done. So next what we are going to do is that next comes the loop part. Okay, next I'm going to start a loop, while loop. So I will define as while I is less than length of items. Okay, again I give a colon. Now my dear friends, colon is very, very important, because when you give a colon and you press and enter, it exactly takes you where at the place, or marks you from where you need to start your next line. Okay, otherwise what happens, you get an error. Okay, if items with current value, this is the current value. Okay, oops, I made a mistake. So actually it should be square bracket. One second. It should be square bracket I, okay, is equal to x, and again a colon. Okay, and then I press enter. Okay, next I define, to exit the loop, what should be the condition. Whenever my flag value, okay, is equal to 1, okay, so I will give it as break, means break from the loop. Okay, then next what I'm going to do is I am going to give a condition to increment my counter. Why? Because I need to know what is the position of the item that has been found in the list. Okay, once this is done, okay, I am going to give an if command. If flag is equal to 1, then what I need to do, I will give it as print function. Okay, item found at position I plus 1. So I am incrementing the counter here. Please don't forget this. Very important. Else. Okay. Else. Print item not found. Okay. So this is the code. Okay. Now what we are going to do is we are going to save this, and we are going to see if our program is right or not. Okay. So I had already earlier solved this. So I'll just give it as again 4a-1, a copy of it, and I will save it. Okay. Now this is saved, and now we'll try to run this particular module. So the list is actually the list of the item is, it has printed me. Okay, so it is telling me, see boss, all these list items are there in the list. Now for example, if I give 5 and I press enter, it will give me item has been found at position 1. So what is the position 1? This is the position 1. So item is found in the position 1. Now if I search for something that is not there in the list, okay, and sorry, I made a mistake here. I should have given a space here. Now this is done. Now if I again try to run my code, okay, so it will again give me the list. Now I'll give something random number as 11. So item is not found. Okay, so this is how you actually write a code for linear search, or where you're finding a item in a list. Okay, so this was a very simple code. Okay, please do try this particular code, and try to execute it with both the condition when you are actually enter a number that is there in the list and try to enter a number which is not there in the list. And I've also explained the program logic and the algorithm. See, once you go through the program logic and the algorithm, don't try to have a program on by your side and try to type it. Okay, so you understand the logic and try to write it on your own. Maybe first time, second time, maybe 10 times you might get an error, you might not get the exact program. But the more the error you get, the more you try to write, that is when you will learn coding. Coding is all about making the errors. Until you don't make an error, I can give it in writing that you're not going to learn the coding. Okay, so please, it is my request to you, make mistakes, get the error, and then keep on trying. That is how you will actually get the right way of programming, and that is how you become an expert in the programming. Or else you're going to learn programming, but you're going to only learn that what you have studied, like 10 programs, 20 programs. If something comes out of the box, you are unable to actually write because you never understood the logic behind the programs that you have studied. Okay, so it's basically very, very important that you know the logic. Once you know the logic, if there is some other change in the similar program, you can make some changes in your program and get the output. So that is the power of understanding the logic of the program and the algorithm that works behind it. Okay, so this was about searching an item in the list. In the next session, we'll also try to work on some more programs, and I have something new coming up. So I'm also starting with a series on solving of blind 75, that is the topmost questions in the lead code. So I'll also be solving daily one program from the lead code, and followed by C programming questions from HackerRank. I'm already doing the HackerRank programs in 2 days. I haven't uploaded any videos. Shortly I'll be uploading some program videos on that, and also coming back to data science, I will be uploading few more videos. So actually I have a lot of things on my hand. Okay, so please bear with me. In the coming days I'll be uploading all the content. So please do like, share, comment, and follow my channel for continuous updates on this programming. Okay, thank you so much.